Oh, it's fine. Alright, so Eagle is to add to our meal because he didn't want plain rice stuff. He's complaining because food gets hit by moths when you leave it out, which is the case. That does happen. But so we have a rice quinoa mixture that we normally have. We blend up our rice and quinoa. But to add some protein to it, we add some lentil beans. And
Not lentil beans, lentil peas.
We add some lentil beans in there and split peas.
Lentil beans isn't a thing.
Lentil peas then.
Lentils, just lentils.
We added some dried lentils and some dried peas.
Dried split peas.
Dried split peas. Instead of using fresh peas, we went ahead and added some dried peas. So you can have that pea flavor in there. And an assortment of different pastas. We took up a lasagna pasta that you can crack in half. And that creates a little bit more texture that he likes.
Yeah.
And so, you can combine starches, and it's okay to do that. And it's okay to add, a little bit of the flavors of everything when you're making stuff. This is great for kids to get their frustration out. Amazing tool. It keeps their fingers safe as long as there's not more than one kid sticking their finger in. I would be worried if you had two kids and they go in.
Would be screwed because
some kid, yeah. The other kid would not be able to stop in time. So this is only for if you only have one kid. If you have two kids, don't get this tool.
Only one kid who, understands.
Well, even with an adult, you can make a mess up if somebody sticks their hand in there.
Well, don't stick your hand while I'm cutting.
Yes, that's true. Alright, so what I was saying before the camera cut off was that it doesn't matter what kinds of carbohydrates you add in there, as long as you have some kind of carbohydrate, some kind of protein. The peas and lentils provide protein, and actually the carbohydrates, wheat and other grains provide. It's just a flattened form of the protein. And for us, it's just about having all these assortment of different textures. He likes the textures of pastas.
Flavor and texture.
This is just a filler. The protein adds in. Make sure you have a vegetable. We have some collard greens from the garden. They take a while to cook, so we're putting it in before we get started, before we even add the water. So that
the taste and smells really good, but the texture doesn't matter.
One of the reasons why we're adding it before we add the water is because that way, when the water will pick up the nutrients of the greens as it sifts through the greens, and then when the water gets absorbed by the grains, it will have the nutrient absorbed water in there.
Yum.
And what were you saying just before I said that?
That you have really, really yummy stuff. It doesn't matter if it has no flavor, or if it has no texture. Even if it has an awesome taste and smell. Right?
Well, with this has lots of texture.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Oh. Well, this has a lot of flavor, too.
But I'm saying that if it has a whole bunch of flavor but no texture, then it's not actually yummy.
That's debatable. You can put your own inputs on there. If you have something with a lot of flavor but no texture.
Would you like really, really flavorful gel that had not even a gel texture?
Well, everything
has texture.
Everything has a how can you have a food that doesn't have a texture?
Exactly. But the more texture you have, the yummier it is.
Yes.
Do you agree, Heart?
I agree. So you're saying texture is important.
Yes.
Yes. Well, there are people who eat fruit drinks and they have shakes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
But yeah.
I suppose. All right.
Different form of texture.
More water. And instead of measuring the water, we just sort of eyeball it. And the point is you want to make sure that it is over for any kind of stuff. Now, we'll periodically, sometimes we'll add water. We are slow cookers. We don't do the boiling. It's a very...
Generally better to have more water rather than less. You can always drain it out.
That is... Well, yes, it's true. If you have more water, then you can drink... If you really have too much
water, you can always boil it off and drain it out.
That's right. And you can drink it, too, and it's very nutritious water.
Yeah.
So it's a soup, and you can always take the soup off. But we're doing a slow cooking method right now where it's basically we're making a soup. But generally, because we don't have too much water, I think it's about 2 centimeters over material. The idea is to learn how to cook without a recipe, to make sure you add texture, to add vegetables, to add
stuff.
protein. And we'll just put this on. We're going to put it on medium at first, and then we'll bring it down to simmer after 2 or 3 minutes, and let it just simmer until it's absorbed all the water and it's ready to go. So I just wanted to say we added in we had like a small handful of lima beans and some old carrots. I like having a lot of color in my thing. That's the reason why if I have a carrot, I like to always put in something orange or yellow. If you have sweet potato, yeah, sweet potato would get a little too soft. Carrot's a better thing for this. Or a red potato or like a red cabbage or something red or orange. We also had some wilting spinach leaves, so I went ahead and just stuck them in there so that they can add some more greens to it. And as you can see, so we just did a small stir, and I don't know if you can see that there's a little bit of this pasta is soft enough. We did add a little bit of water after it had already gotten raised, just to make sure that nothing is stuck on the bottom. And then I was also teaching my son just now. He was, something very important is that he was trying to stir. This is very full, and he was trying to stir, and it was all coming out the edge. I don't know exactly how he did it. I don't want to duplicate it. Too big a motion. And so I was trying to show him that if you've got a can that's really this full of some kind of thing that this much, you do little tiny, not even a half inch, right, just to get the loosened on the edge. And then after you've gotten it loosened on the edge, then you go in and little tiny rocking motions. Nothing to push. Your food should not be being pushed when you're scraping the bottom, because then that's how it happens with him, is that he would pick it up and just go
make a giant mess.
Very big mess. You can kind of see a little bit of it leftovers. But the idea, the cat is meowing. Meow.
Yeah. Yeah, you're really hungry. Let's food up there.
She's got lots of dry food, but we're going to give her a little bit of wet food to make it more appealing.
Up.
Yeah. Meow. Yeah, it's there. It's there.
All right, now it's literally right there.
You just gotta hop up there. Hop up. Can you smell it? Can you smell it?
It's like I kind of, I don't know.
I think she's so hungry she's not aware right now. How about you go ahead and help her up there? There you go. Yeah. Yummy. Oh, can you mix the dry food on top of it? She'll eat all the wet food otherwise and leave the dry food behind. So, sorry, Catty. Kitty cat. Is that mixed enough? Okay. All right. Anyways, as I was saying, stir little bits, little grooves. And anyways, this is done. You can tell the quinoa. So the way you always know the quinoa has done is that, do you see the little, I don't know if you can see it in this camera, the little bitty white pieces that come out? And it's probably not a good enough camera for this. And the pasta is, cuts in half. That's really all you need. Okay, the carrots I put in too late so that they're going to be too crunchy, and that's a shame. I should have... Oh, the split peas need to be? Oh, yeah, let's try one of those. So you grab one of the... yeah. So, unfortunately, that is part of the problem of doing things that are mixing your... So you would want to do... Theoretically, you'd want to do your split peas and your lentils first, and then add in... But as I said, we added some more water in. We don't mind if our quinoa is overdone, so we added some more water in. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit more because it does get all absorbed by all this stuff. So we're going to add in a good inch or so, maybe 2 inches of water. An inch. And we're just leaving it on simmer. It's a slow cook process, kind of like a slow cooker. And I actually did that twice where I added in an inch. So I added in an inch and it got all absorbed in, and then I added in another inch. And you do it in increments. And if you're doing it in a slow simmer, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the water, you want lukewarm water when you put it in. You don't want cold water because then it will stop the cooking process. But, all right. And I think I'm going to buy this pasta. All right. Oh, something we didn't do is seasonings. Normally we add a TV dinner in for seasonings. Right now we have some leftover pastas that we got from a run club that we went to. It was very nice. And it has a lot of seasoning in it. So I'm going to use that as a seasoning. And I also are going to stick in some leftover salads. And it's amazing when you use leftovers, the leftovers add a lot of the seasoning in. So this is actually all very bland and starch, which is perfect for kids. They don't like a lot of seasoning. and then we add in the flavors afterwards in this particular case. Normally I would add in a TV dinner. I wouldn't fill this up so high. Normally I would add in some seasonings of myself, but we were kind of feeling in a bland mood today. So we're just going to use the leftovers of the other stuff, and I'm going to have a little bit of salad, and I'll stick some nuts for some crunch, because these carrots are probably going to be soft by the time we finally do eat this. I like a little bit of crunch. And every meal, that's it. When you cook with no recipe, you got to think about carbohydrates, proteins, color, crunch, what's the other thing? Oh, and some kind of hidden flavor. Like, oh, that's what I forgot to add in. I forgot to add in some dried fruit. That would have made this perfect, because then you have that hidden, what's that flavor kind of taste? But I forgot about it. So remind yourself, carbohydrates, protein, color, texture. Well, we already have a lot of texture. But odd flavor, like a fruit of some kind, just sort of stuck in, hidden in there. Crunch, like a peanut or a nut. Flowers. Or a hard carrot. Or flowers. Yum. And either leftovers for seasoning, or you can sprinkle your own seasoning in there. Yum, yum, yum. Ooh, I can't wait to put peanuts in this. And, oh, sounds so good. I'm so excited. Bon appetit. Huh?
That time when the leftover gets used as leftover, and then gets used as leftover again, as leftover.
Yeah, we do that a lot. We add leftovers upon leftovers, and we keep the leftovers going. Kind of like, it keeps it alive, passed on. But it makes flavors very interesting when you do that. Looks like the cat is all well fed. That's good. We'll have some of our own food too. Yum. Thank you for listening. Make sure you check your posture like he just did, where you lift your arms over your head and stretch all the way to the ceiling. Yum. Thank you for checking in with us. Thank you for subscribing. Check in our other cool videos. Go to patreon.com/KE. Patreon.com. I don't know what I just said.
Patreon.com/KEE, and donate and subscribe to see more cool videos and help us keep on making them.
And also go to CrinetEagle.com to sign up for everything else that we're making. Join them on his art stores. Go to our Facebook pages, social media. There's like 6 different ways you can sign up on Facebook. There's so many ways to keep in touch and keep tabs with all the cool ideas we have to share with you.
And as always, thanks for watching. Remember, it's just for you.
And stretch.
Yum.
Yum. Time for food? Time for food. Yum. Can we put it in a bowl, though, instead? Thank you. Show how it does absorb it. If you look down at the bottom of this, it's almost all been absorbed in. Again,
I just added a bunch of water right now.
Oh, you just added it. Oh, okay. So we missed it.
Yeah,
so it had, that even though we added
taste it, it's a bit dry.
Huh?
You have to taste it, it's a bit dry.
Before?
Right now.
Right now?
Yeah, it's still a bit dry.
Huh. You know what it must be? The peas must be soaking it up.
The what?
The peas?
I think also because you had it on simmer, but the top wasn't on.
Oh, yes. Always make sure you cover
if you're
your
gonna
food.
have it on simmer, especially simmer, because simmer is the is, at least on our stove anyways, it's always where it evaporates off smokes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, okay. That was
yeah,
a bad
but simmer,
call.
always
So,
make sure you got the top on.
the lesson of what not to do when cooking with no recipe. And again, you can see why it's important that when you make stirring, you do small motions. As you can see, he did a big motion, and out it came.
Oh, he's scooping it out.
Oh, you're scooping it out. Well, how come when you scoop it out, it doesn't make it to the bowl?
Because it does, but not all of it. It falls,
That's a lot.
It falls to the bottom of the spoon.
All right.
Oh.
We're going to watch how,
This is how it
spills.
See that?
Okay, so.
I guess, and it just falls out like that.
Falls out the edge.
Because it's not perpendicularly forming to it. I need like a something that forms.
Okay, so you know another thing you could do? One, you could use a better serving spoon. And then with the better serving spoon, you can lift it up?
Instead of scooping the edge, yeah.
Lift it up and see, does anything fall? Ouch, that hurt. Okay.
What?
The hot food fell on my foot.
Sorry.
Oh, very hot. Wow.
Anyway, yum.
Okay, so is that good? Oops, there was one pasta piece that didn't get enough water, you can tell. So it's a little bit harder. So, yeah.
Or maybe it did get water, just all burned off.
Well, that particular piece didn't. So that's one of the problems with putting in mixtures of pasta is that not all, most of it's soft.
Especially when it starts like down here, and then it goes all the way up to here.
Right. So you know what I think we should have done? I think we should have filled it up all the way up to here with water. So if we ever do this much again, serve our meal, we're adding in some of our leftovers that he has, and we're going to just stick it in. That way it uses the leftovers to spread some flavor in there. Although actually, it turned out, even though it's very bland, it actually has a ton of flavor because it's all the different textures.
Yeah, for
the wild rice offers a little bit of texture. The lima beans offer a little bit of texture. The peas offer a little bit of texture. Every little texture change somehow brings out a lot of flavor. I think the lima beans also had a lot of salt. It has that edamame flavor, that's what it is. But then we also add in pasta.
Anyways.
Now, we have two different kinds of pastas because that's what they came with. So mine is...
So yeah, we get this pasta from the local run club. Just take them a bit extra.
Now, if you don't have a local run club, just join a club that has where they have some leftovers and ask if you can. A lot of times they have leftover food.
Potlucks or places like that.
Yeah, join a potluck, and a lot of times they let you take a little tiny bit that you can take of leftovers because they usually bring so much food to these potlucks or to different places where they serve free food. You can take something
Free
home.
Food. Always go to free places. It's free food, right?
And unfortunately, that's not organic, but you know, when it's free,
Not having it every day.
yeah, you're not having it every day. And occasionally, it's okay to have some non-organic stuff. Oh, by the way, everything else we had in here was organic or from the garden or locally sustainably grown. So we kind of mix. We're laid back in that we'll have non-organic stuff. I like to break everything up so that I guess he leaves his plain. It looks like he did add a little bit of flavor. He wants some curry flavor. What was that?
This is turmeric. I put coriander in there too. The problem is turmeric. That coriander like has absolutely no flavor. So,
Well, old 5-year-old coriander has no flavor.
Yeah.
Fresh coriander would have flavor.
Yes, but this is
We have some old spices that we're using up in the
putting
pantry.
That we have. I'm also adding a little bit of curry mixture of some sort.
Great. Just
Yeah,
mix the flakes. Mix the flakes. Oh, and the turmeric is really healthy for you. I also make it a point to add in a little bit of leftovers from salads whenever we have leftover onions.
Chia seeds.
And chia seeds, you can't do anything without chia seeds because it adds a little bit extra protein.
What are you doing with my food?
Eating. Yummy. That was good. Yeah, you know what? A little bit of curry added. Normally you add a curry in when cooking, but ooh, I liked it. It added a little bit of spice to it. With the onions. Perfect. Yum.
Water, so.
Oh yeah, yeah. We decided it was a little dry, so he's adding a little bit of water just to dampen it up a little bit. Yum. You know, I just had an idea, something else you can do, and I actually did this, a little bit of salad dressing. So I had some cucumbers that were sitting in some salad dressing, and I just tossed them in. And because I love having surprising flavors in my food. That's one of the reasons why I like cooking without a recipe, is because I add in all these secret ingredients that, you know, go in and you're like, ooh, what was that flavor? And your brain goes, and it's
Secret
just
ingredients.
Like, it's just like trying to figure out, what is it?
Secret ingredients. Secret ingredients.
Yum. Yum.
Yum.
All right, ready to go eat? Will it make it to the table, or so-called table? All right, bye for real this time. Just remember to stretch. Remember to eat well. Thank you for listening. Eat organically. Grow your own greens. Go to our Hoping for a Garden site. Maybe we'll, you know what? If you want to become a member on patreon.com/KEE, we can help hold your hand and help you create your own edible oasis. It is perfectly wonderful and wonderful to do. Yum. All right. Oh. Okay.
As always, thanks for watching. Remember, as always, thanks for watching. Remember to just breathe.
Breathe.
Yum. Bye.
Bye. Bye.